And I think also, like you were talking earlier about the physical and like mental health benefits of sport and activity. And then the other big thing being that connection piece. And like you were talking about earlier, sharing experiences with someone who maybe has a similar disability to you and you're trying to overcome something or you're trying to solve a problem. Like you were talking about being able to share those stories and that like shared perspective and lived experience, I think can be really valuable as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the one big example in sport that to me sticks out is that notion of travel.
Mm.
Because oftentimes a lot of my first early traveling experiences without my parents were in a sport context, and so being able to go on trips with my team, with my coaches, with my teammates, and the first few times you travel with a disability, if you're not used to it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is sometimes going to be problems that arise. There's going to be some situations that pop up where you might not know how to handle it. And it's really nice to have other people around who have been through those things and have done those things already. Because then you can lean on them and be like, oh, hey, like this bathtub, like, isn't the greatest. Like, how do I do this transfer? Like, what do you do? And then someone will talk you through it, or they'll show you how to do it, or they'll provide advice that way. Or, like, even for me, like, when I was looking for like accessible housing in the city, it was a couple of my teammates who were the ones who sent me the listing, being like, "Hey, there's this spot open in this building where one of us like lived or used to live. Like, I think you should take a look at this and apply for it." Right? So it's having those sort of connections where like not only can they answer your questions about like, "Hey, how do I make this pass on the court?" or "My hand doesn't quite open. How do you catch the ball?" But also like, okay, I'm trying to learn how to cook again. Like, how do you hold a knife? It's those little things like that that aren't sport related, but that you learn through sport that I think are really cool. And it's interesting for me now, having been involved in it for 15 years, having been on the other side, where now I'm one of the people who like answers questions as opposed to being the like young kid who was like asking all the questions, or having my parents there whose minds were just blown because all these guys and girls are like driving to practice and like having kids on their lap and doing all sorts of different things, right? Like it kind of opens up a whole new idea of what's possible that I think is really important. And then yeah, to have it connected to like a fun activity and an outlet is really great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sort of using that like sport and team environment to create like that network of sort of general life friendships and support and that
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
needs. Yeah. Yeah,
So
amazing. Do you want to talk a little bit more about any of the other programs or events that BC Wheelchair Sport offers?
yeah, so we offer a lot. So we have a range of weekly programs across our three sports that run in different communities throughout BC. So like I said, tennis, athletics, and rugby. You can always reach out to any one of our program coordinators for more information on programs that might be in your area. In addition to like weekly programs and some of our high performance programs for, say, our more competitive athletes who are training really hard or on a more competitive pathway, we also run a lot of like major events. So what's coming up soon, for example, is we have our Vancouver Invitational Wheelchair Rugby Tournament at the end of March, which brings the top club teams from across Canada and the Pacific Northwest to the Richmond Olympic Oval for 3 days of competition in two divisions. We're going to have 10 teams again this year, which is our largest field since the pandemic happened. So we're back up to kind of our pre-pandemic level for that. So that's going to be really exciting, and we're really looking forward to having all of those teams back in our backyard again. That's great. In the summer, we run two international tennis tournaments, one in Vancouver and one in Kamloops, which are both part of the International Tennis Federation's Uniqlo Wheelchair Tennis Tour. So that provides a good opportunity for some of our competitive local players to get an opportunity to play in a tournament close to home. And usually we have athletes come from kind of all over the world to compete in that one, which is really great. And those run annually. And then we run the Canada Cup International Wheelchair Rugby Tournament every 2 years. That's probably our big flagship event. It's where we bring in like the eight best national teams in the world before World Championships or Paralympics, and they play in a really big tournament that's going on, which is great. Yeah, and then our like closest big event coming up is our fundraiser, which is called Push for Impact, where corporate or community teams can enter a group of individuals in. They raise money for our organization, and then they get to compete in a fun charitable wheelchair rugby tournament with some of our athletes as coaches. So they kind of coach them for the day, and they plan about 5 or 6 games. And yeah, this is, I believe, our fourth or our fifth edition this year. So we've just been slowly building that over the past few years. Yeah, but the big thing, like I said, is like our weekly and our bridging the gap programs, and then we also have an Indigenous Bridging the Gap program where we're working on increasing our cultural awareness and also going into more building stronger relationships with Indigenous communities and sharing some of our sports with them, to kind of similar to the standard Bridging the Gap program, to break down those barriers and make sure that more people have access and knowledge around wheelchair sports, and the benefits that they can provide to people. So yeah, we got a lot going on. It's definitely a busy place to work, but it's really cool when everything comes together, and it's just great to see, more people get involved and more of those light bulb moments happen. And yeah, we're always looking for more members and more volunteers. You can always kind of get in touch and reach out to us. We never really have a point where we're turning people away from our programs. So obviously, certain sports are in seasons at different times, but yeah, we're always kind of open to more people joining and getting involved.
Wow. Okay. Lots of very exciting things happening over there.
Yeah, we have a lot going on, so it's going to be an exciting year,
Yeah.
especially like the past couple of years. It's coming out of lockdown and some of the challenges that that had on sport. We're in a really kind of exciting phase now where things are starting back up again, and we're getting more of our regular programs back up and running to the kind of state that they were in pre-pandemic. And yeah, really kind of focusing again on that like recruitment piece and getting more people involved. Because yeah, the biggest challenge is you don't know what you don't know about. So trying to find ways to bridge that gap and get more people aware of what we're doing and hopefully get more people having a good time.
Amazing. Love that. Yeah. Back to sort of pre pandemic levels of engagement. That's exciting. And so, talking about sort of recruitment and all of these things, what is the best way for people to find you? Could you maybe drop the website or any social media that might be out there?
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch with us is we're on pretty much every form of social media you can imagine. So we're on Facebook under BC Wheelchair Sports. Same with Instagram, same with Twitter. You can get in touch with us through that. We have a website at www.bcwheelchairsports.com. We're also currently in the process of building a new website and updating that. So we should have a new website launched within the next month or so, which we're really excited about, looking forward to. And then, yeah, you can email us at any time at info@bcwheelchairsports.com, or you can check the contact us page on our website, and contact the individual coordinator responsible for the sport that you're interested in, because we have one staff member for each of those sports who will kind of be the direct contact for that, and then they'll point you in the right direction, either towards the program you're looking for or the local club, because we are province wide. So we do have programs in a number of different communities across the province.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that. And
Yeah, no worries.
as we're wrapping up here, I just want to thank you for taking the time to share both your personal experience as well as all of the amazing things that are happening at BC Wheelchair Sport. Are there any like final thoughts that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I hope I was able to answer all your questions, as well as we could there. And then the last thing I want to just kind of leave people with is if you're thinking about trying a wheelchair sport and you're just not sure or you're worried about it, the best advice I could give you is to just come out and try it. Come out and hop in one of the chairs, try out the equipment, meet some of the people, and see if it's for you. And if that first sport doesn't quite work out for you or doesn't feel like it's a great fit, don't be afraid to try something different. I think that's one thing that I like about our org is that we have our three sports, but we're also not afraid to help connect you with some of the other orgs in the area, that might cater to the specific sport you're looking for. There's snow sports that does incredible things up on the mountains. Like I said, Sportability does bocce. They do power soccer, and they do a couple para ice hockey, so sledge hockey. BC Wheelchair Basketball did BC Wheelchair Basketball. So yeah, if there's something you're interested in finding out about, even if it's not directly our sports, you can always ask the question. We'll point you in the right direction. But obviously, we do hope that you get involved in tennis, athletics, or rugby. They're all great, fantastic outlets, and I feel like we're really trying to build supportive, open, and inclusive programs for everybody to get involved and have a good time. Whether you're a parent of a child with a disability looking for a youth program, or you're somebody in their 50s and 60s trying to get active a little bit more, or you're somebody who was maybe really active and athletic before their injury, and now you're trying to find an outlet again. We've got a place for all of you. So come on out, give it a try.
Lovely. That is really great advice. I think that's a beautiful note to end on. So thank you again for taking the time to join me today.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
And to all of our listeners, thanks for tuning in today. We hope you join us next time on Discover Stories.